Good evening. Hi. Hello. How are you? Um, I just needed to put the volume on, and I'll put the volume up for the game. So how are you tonight? How's everything going? I'm yeah, I'm a bit excited to get more into the game Vampire the Masquerade Coteries of New York. I think we left just before Sophie was about to explain a few things, so we might just look into the dictionary that we received. There are a few phrases that can be useful. I'll put the game the game music on again. I know that I had to turn it off for a bit, but now it's back on. Okay, lovely. So without further ado, let's load the game. Oh yes, I, I completely forgot. We named our character Dracul, and he is. We had three choices of the vampire kind. So we had the kind of the rebel, the corporate, and the artist. So I suppose the rebel and the corporate seem like you know two ends, you know, either the rebel or the corporate, and ours was kind of a nice in between, I suppose. But yeah, his name is Dracul. So yeah, so we made a new friend. Well, not so much friend as there's probably a word for that. Okay, apologies. You must have so many questions. While we're on the topic, perhaps we should start with those related to sustenance. That's quite essential, just knowing how to feed yourself in the new circumstances. Yeah, let's look at the dictionary. Wait, what? Yes, unread. So we have new vocab. So the hunger. The urge to feed. For vampires, the hunger replaces all other drives with its own powerful call. So hunger is, yeah, I suppose, just as the name implies, no, not much to explain there. The prince, a vampire who has claimed a given expanse of domain as their own, generally a city, and supports that claim against all others. The term can refer to a kindred of either sex. So it's a universal term. So you don't have to be a princess. You can be a prince. So it's devoid of any kind of gender annotation. Probably the yeah. So so like New York City would be the territory of Prince Helen, who we have met already. And fledgling, a newly created vampire still under their sire's protection. So we would be a fledgling, and Sophie is our sire now, because our previous sire just abandoned us. The Camarilla, a major sect of vampires devoted primarily to maintaining the masquerade through influence and manipulation of mortal society. I wonder, because I'm not very uh, into the lore. I don't know everything about it, but I wonder what's outside of the Camarilla. Okay, so all has been read. Great. Now we can ask Sophie for more. Oh yes, the hunger. How much do I have to drink? Where do I get blood? Does the taste of blood matter? I want to ask her all of those questions, because the blood that we had in that little room, that didn't taste very good. And yeah, I suppose maybe there's something about the type of blood, or maybe, I don't know, you feed something to the source of blood. Maybe how much? So how often do I have to feed? I feel this hunger constantly. How much do I have to drink to make it go away? The sad reality is it will never go away. No matter how much you drink, you'll always be tempted to have more. Unless you consume someone holy to the last drop, paying for the temporary relief with their life. But that is a one-way road to losing your humanity. Best start by just taking a single sip from a vessel. Be prudent. Hot, fresh blood will be more satiating than most anything they serve in a fancy glass, but can make you more voracious. So vessel. A source of blood for sustenance or pleasure, primarily mortal. Wouldn't that mean just another human being, or can we feed on animals? I suppose if you're maybe a lower class vampire, you don't mind. As to how much you should have, it depends. If you're frugal, you can survive many nights without a single drink, but it's risky and will tempt the beast that is part of our curse. Beast. The incante drives and urges that threaten to turn a vampire into a mindless, ravening monster. So there is a curse. Tomorrow I shall take you hunting and will explore this topic further. The blood you're having tonight should be enough to keep you happy for now. Hunting. What do you mean by hunting? Did you say hunting as in rifles, hounds and funny hats hunting? Nothing of the sort, don't be silly. We are predators, but we are civilized. And most importantly, there is the masquerade to consider. I'll get back to that. So let's see. So the masquerade being the habit or tradition of hiding the existence of vampires from humanity. So as I said at the very start, so that's the masquerade. Designed to protect vampires from destruction at the hands of mankind. The masquerade was adopted after the medieval Inquisition claimed many kindred unlives. Okay. So it's better to hide and work in the shadows, I suppose. A hunt may take many forms. There are those of us who seduce kine up to and including the motions of intercourse if you feel like it. Others prefer to feed under the guise of a mugging or assault. So there are different ways. Kine, seduce kine. Kine, a term for mortals, largely contemptuous. The phrase kindred and kine refers to the word at large, everything. Some have herds of retainers for the purpose of feeding. Drinking from sleepers in their homes is not uncommon. Blood banks are an option to the few that can tolerate it, though they are frowned upon. Retainers. A human who serves a vampiric master. Kindred rarely go without at least a few of these mortals, both for convenience and protection. It's good to have It's good to have friends. Well, maybe not friends, really. It's also someone to maybe make oh gosh, maybe hide your disguise. Hide your disguise. What am I saying? You'll need to identify these opportunities and decide for yourself whether to pursue them. But make no mistake, you'll have to hunt to survive. The concierge returns, asks for permission to intrude, which Sophie gives with a polite smile, and leans in to whisper in her ear. You note that the gallery is now almost empty. I'm being told the gallery is just about to close, but we still have quite a lot to discuss. We'll go to one of my apartments. My jalopy is waiting downstairs. Come. The smile she puts on makes you remember last night's encounter in the showroom. A similar eagerness to spend time with this person overtakes you momentarily, and you follow her outside. Your sixth sense tell you she's an artistic soul, too, and you unwittingly start projecting good qualities onto her. I just can't. She doesn't have to sit here. She sits here, and you see her stare. It's so vivid. Sophie leads you to a luxurious silver Rolls Royce and invites you to sit in the back. The chauffeur, a broad-shouldered, clean-shaven, middle-aged guy, starts driving immediately. Where did we leave? Oh. I believe I started telling you a bit more about our customs. You've heard the prince refer to our traditions. The chief among them is the Masquerade. So let's see if there's anything about traditions. Okay, so there's a bit more about traditions. The 6 traditions form the core framework for governance among the kindred. The first tradition, the Masquerade, thou shalt not reveal thy true nature. So we're hiding from normal humans. The second tradition, the domain. Thy domain is thine own concern. All others owe thee respect while in it. The third tradition, the progeny. Thou shalt only sire another with the permission of thine elder. The fourth tradition, the accounting. Those thou create are thine own children. Their sins are thine to endure. The fifth tradition, hospitality. Honor one another's domain. Without the word of acceptance, thou art nothing. Okay. The sixth tradition, destruction. Thou art forbidden to destroy another of thy kind. The right of destruction belongs only to thine elder. Okay, so yeah, those are pretty reasonable traditions, I suppose. So just to keep everything secret, to you know, your home is your home, and you know, so your domain. The progeny. So you cannot make little vampires right and left. You have it has to be controlled. And then if those children make trouble, well, you know, it's on you. And then yeah, other domains. So just to be a good host to other vampires from other domains, and then you know, just killing the vampire. So no killing except for, you know, if you're the elder, killing your child. As you might have gathered from us assembling at the niche gallery after closing time, our comings, goings, and doings tend to be somewhat secretive. We do not advertise our existence. We allow myths and modern fiction to morph and muddle the facts. so that the vast majority of kin remain bedtime stories and pop culture icons. Say, is that one television show about a vampire angel still popular? You shake your head in confusion. She shrugs and continues talking, looking a little bit more dejected than before. Our clandestine ways help us remain safe, allow us to explain away the occasional trip up to the rational minds of 21st century humanity, and dictate much of our interactions with mortals. Okay. Hmm. I wonder, is the chauffeur also a vampire? Or maybe he is and wait a moment, I'll look that word up. Retainer. Maybe he's a retainer. You know, who wouldn't need a taxi driver, a chauffeur? That's the question. So, if it's such a secret, then I'm guessing your driver is a vampire too. Oh, dear Gregory here. No, not a vampire, although he is a loyal servant, and as such trusted to not spill our secrets left and right. You will realize with time that such help is welcome. Gregory watches over me during the day hours. Sunburns are kind. Oh, I cannot speak properly in English today. It's just a tad bit difficult. Although I've been speaking English the whole day, now my tongue is just all kind of jumbled. So sunburns are kind. That's why we take our rest while it rises. It's more akin to being dead than asleep, and I'm sure you've already experienced. So Gregory watches over her. Okay. I wonder how does that work? Is he charmed, or would he do it willingly? But then again, how can she guarantee that he won't, spill the beans? But not everything you've heard about vampires is true. Some more folk-related threats are just legends, or occasionally a minor nuisance. Garlic, running water. Even religious symbols don't repel us, unless the wielder is uniquely pure and godly. Stakes through the heart, though. That's something to avoid. They do not destroy, but they do paralyze us. Well, that's just another reason to have somebody like trusty old Gregory making sure you're safe when you drift away. We have many enemies, and they often know their advantage lies with daylight. Yeah, the vampires watch each other's backs as well. You mentioned enemies. I guess that makes it necessary to watch each other's backs. Can you count on other vampires for that? I wonder. She surprises you by letting out a soft chuckle before answering. No. I guess that just means that vampires can be a tad bit selfish. I wonder. Our little sect supplies social interactions aplenty, but it doesn't really encourage counting on someone. Support given in exchange for favors. Yes, that's more like it. A sect. Oh, let's see, sect. A group of vampires arguably united under a common philosophy. The two most widely known sects currently populating the night are the Camarilla and the Anarch movement. Okay, Camarilla, so that's the one, and the one is the Anarchs. Long-term solidarity does occur in the Camarilla, but we are a very politicized organization by necessity. Loyalty is to your sire, to your prince, and to the sect. Okay, so to your elder, so she is my sire now, to the prince of the domain, and to the sect as a whole. When you're in Elysium, like we're tonight, the sect can appear to be a monolith. The reality is more complex. Outside of official gatherings, shady deals and a quid pro quo mentality reigns supreme. Elysium, another word to learn. A place where vampires may gather without fear or harm. Court functions in Elysium are strictly kept apart from mortals and surrounded by secrecy, but the Elysium buildings itself could be a public museum, a gallery, or a club. Bergheim is an anarch Elysium. The Louvre is a Camarilla Elysium. Okay. She seems to be lost in thought and falls silent for a while, leaving you to ponder all the things you've learned tonight. So yeah, there was a lot to learn this night. A lot of new words. It still feels absolutely unreal, but as piece after piece of knowledge falls into place, the image becomes almost like an entirely logical jigsaw puzzle. Whatever you wouldn't believe on your own, you've witnessed. Many questions swarm your thoughts, but the one you keep returning to is what your place in this new reality should be. The car stops. You're in the city, in front of an old but well-renovated apartment building. We're here. Would you like to see your lodgings? My own apartment. I get my own apartment? That's neat. Consider it the first of many gifts that I'm able to grant in exchange for loyalty. Come upstairs. She leads you through a small hall with a night guard who greets Miss Langley with a good evening, and you take the stairs up to the second floor. Sophie opens the door to room 209. Oh, looks lovely. Inside are all the amenities you could expect from a modern apartment, and some you wouldn't have deemed necessary just the previous night, including thick blinds on the windows. Yeah, that's essential now. No sunlight whatsoever. The back room has a comfortable looking bed and a thick steel door with several sturdy looking locks, but no windows. Well, how do you like it? What? Can I choose another? Well, I don't think that's necessary, but yeah, it's great. It's much better than the little building we were kept in. This is great, thank you. I'm glad. Make yourself at home. Tomorrow I'll take you hunting and discuss the blood in more detail. I'll let you get comfortable. The keys are by the television set. I will come pick you up tomorrow night. Use the back room for rest. You can lock the doors, just in case. It stings a bit when she leaves. It's like the room suddenly became a few shades dimmer. So she left and we're on our own. You inspect the kitchen, hoping to find something to drink. Nothing. No regular food either. Feels strange that Kadir could be a more thoughtful host than your new sire, even if only in that respect. You briefly wonder if the sheriff might have a hidden side. So sheriff, that's a word to know. Sheriff. Ensures that the traditions and the decrees of the prince are obeyed. Okay. So he's the police of the prince. Hunts down violators and delivers just punishment. In the case of minor violations or known enemies of the Camarilla, the sheriff is usually authorized to act as both judge and jailer executioner, but when it comes to greater offenses, they will deliver the accused to the court to be judged. What was his name? Kadir. Yeah, it was Kadir who's the sheriff. Kadir. With nothing left to do, you lie on the couch with the TV playing in the background for company. Columbo reruns. Kojak reruns. President of the United States got himself into serious trouble again. President of the United States got himself out of trouble again. Pundits start yelling over each other about things that seemed a little bit less insignificant just 2 days ago. You start drifting off, reflecting about another night of confusing conversations and worldview shattering revelations. How many more before you finally understand what happened to you and what you are supposed to do now? You keep coming back to the life you left behind, the people you should contact, the things you want to pick up from your apartment. You wonder when you'll have the chance for either. As you start to feel the same tiredness that made you drift into a cold sleep last night, you settle in the back room. The bed is comforting. The lack of windows, less so. Apologies, some sort of cable just fell. That's fine, was good. You leave the light bulb on. Looking at it, you realize it's the closest you'll ever come to staring at the sun on a breezy summer day again. A wave of melancholy overwhelms you. A few minutes later, your consciousness fades and take the plunge into darkness again. Sinking, sinking, sinking. This was a terrifying sound for a bit. Oh wow! Okay, we got the map. We unlocked the map. Yes. Hunger is at the heart of a vampire's existence. To ignore it is to tempt the beast to take over in its desire to feed. To overindulge in feeding may threaten the masquerade or stain what humanity you have left. In Coteries of New York, high hunger is indicated by a progressively thicker bloody frame around the screen, like the one you see now. As your hunger grows, so does this indicator. Your hunger may increase when you call upon your vampiric powers or when you need to mend your wounds after a fight. Okay, we're fighting. When your hunger reaches the maximum level, you'll receive a warning after you complete a piece of a story. Ignore it at your own peril. Some choices might only become visible if your hunger is high enough. Similarly, high hunger may block off some choices, as you'll be able to see after pressing continue. Okay. Hello, thank you very much. I like this sweater a lot. It's very comfy. Cold in Ireland? Well, just a bit. Yeah, I suppose it's time for sweaters. It can be very windy at times. And how's the weather in Poland? Is it very windy as well? How is it snowing? So we cannot choose the blocked off option. To decrease your hunger, you'll need to feed. Whenever you see a feeding opportunity, you can take the risk to hunt and slake your hunger. Okay. So this is the feeding opportunity. In Poland, okay, sometimes cold, sometimes warm. Really? Okay, so it's somewhat in between still. Well, it's October, but plus 19, that's high. That's quite high. Yeah, I hope it will snow for Christmas because I'm coming to I'm going home for Christmas for a few days, and it would be nice to see some snow whilst I'm there. So the problem with Christmas is that the plane tickets are always very expensive, obviously, because everyone wants to go home for Christmas or somewhere far away. Everyone travels on Christmas. Yeah, probably it will be, yes, snow in November, but nothing in December. Just my luck. Yeah, so yeah, because the tickets are very high, we have to go, we have to do a little, uh, we're not going directly to Poland, but we have to stop in Germany and then go to Poland, which is a less pricier option. Okay, feeding opportunity. Let's click. You'll keep you need to keep the hunger at bay if you're to uphold the masquerade and survive the nights that await you. You open your eyes. The bed isn't warm. The roof is filled with artificial light from the ceiling. The solid metal door is closed. Normally, you'd stretch for a bit. On some mornings, you'd probably throw the quilt over yourself and snooze a moment longer. But that was before. The way you woke up now, you are fully conscious. No grogginess, nothing weighing you down, just a nagging need in the back of your head. Hunger. Not as severe as the last time, but unmistakably there. Ah, I know. It wasn't an easy decision, I have to say. It was something that had to be done. Yes, see, I told you, I can teach you English. No problem, no problem. You can learn from me by interacting. We can learn. So there you go. You get up and open the door to the main room. A digital clock on the TV shows you the time. 9:04 p.m. You walk over to the blinds and retract them cautiously. The only light coming is the New York City's artificial nighttime luminescence. Well, listening can be hard, I suppose, especially if someone is speaking with an accent. Well, it starts with single words, but then you add. Just think like Lego. Just 2 Lego now, 3 Lego later, then 4 Legos. Just add. Sing, and yeah. So the same with everything. Just bit by bit. So a digital clock on the TV shows you the time, 9:04. Okay, that's the time. So that's what your waking hours are going to look like now. You missed the sunlight already. You're seriously considering just walking out to the apartment and figuring this all by yourself. But then you come back to the memory of Kadir's exotic sword being raised in the gallery. Maybe sticking around isn't that bad of an idea after all. You kept jumping channels for around half an hour and then switched to streaming services. Almost as if the universe had a sense of irony, you catch True Blood in the flood of recommendations. True Blood was a great show. I like True Blood. The doorbell rings. It's Sophie. Good evening, Draco. Slept well? Like a dead man. Curious wording, but not that far from the truth, I suppose. No use dwelling on it. I think you will agree with time. You made the right choice yesterday. I can teach you many things about yourself. Your blood, its desires and its power, will begin tonight. You're hungry, yes? I'm sure you are. Our kind always is. There's only one remedy, the blood. The drinks we had yesterday at Elysium are not the usual way you slake your thirst. So tonight, I'll assist you in your first foray into hunting. You need to learn to sense the kind of blood you desire, to understand how you can use the kind vulnerabilities to your advantage. Okay, time to learn. Well, I'm ready to learn. Let's get started. Such eagerness, or is it just your hunger making you impatient? You'll find that drinking moderate amounts of it regularly will keep the hunger and the whispers of the beast away. You might think yourself monstrous, but there is a balance to be found there. The kiss gives the kind pleasure. You might remember this from your own embrace. Some can even become addicted to the sensation, but if you do it right, they tend to misremember your feeding. Okay, so the kiss. The kiss, an act of drinking blood, usually from a mortal. The kiss causes feelings of ecstasy in those who receive it. And then the embrace, the act of transforming a mortal into a vampire. The embrace requires the vampire to drain her victim and then replace that victim's blood with a bit of her own. So that's how you make vampires. They don't teach that in school. After all, vampires do not exist. They are myths, fairy tales, and pop culture mainstays, correct? She gives you a sly, knowing smile. Oh, she is very sly. I think she's up to no good in some way. I think she has some agenda. Why would she? Yeah, actually, she needs something from us. Like she said, that vampires don't normally help other vampires, and her, asking the prince to take us on. That's. I wonder what she'll want in the end. That is why the masquerade is so important, and even more crucial when you feed. Oh, I want to know all of those. How do you select a victim? I think that's... How do I choose who to feed from? Are there better or worse targets? Isolated kind are easiest prey, of course, but much depends on context. Hunting requires a different approach in a busy club than it does on an empty street. Okay, so there are different ways to feed on prey. With time, you will have the luxury of finding your preference in hunting methods and prey. For now, I suggest experimenting in moderation. Feeding from the same area repeatedly can be dangerous, but by branching out you risk the ire of other kindred on whose domains you trespass. Lucky for you, New York City is more forgiving in this regard. New York is in somewhat of an unique position. Many of its neighborhoods remain contested or unclaimed. The reason for this is a lesson for another time, but keep the following in mind. Take opportunities to feed when they present themselves these upcoming nights. As long as you hunt cautiously and respect the masquerade at all times, you should be fine. To wit, I want you to join me for a trip tonight. Come downstairs, Gregor is waiting for us. The busy street fills the air with traffic noise, pedestrian chatter, and a mix of smells that disorient you momentarily. These warm bodies contain what you want, what you need. So we are hungry, we are very hungry, and we need to control ourselves, definitely. You catch yourself. Did you really just think of these people as mere sources of blood? Exactly. That was my thought. It takes a nudge from Sophie to break your train of thought. Her driver opens the door for her and then tips his hat to you, gesturing to the back of the car. The car casually joins the somewhat thin New York's traffic. It's still busy in a way only one of the biggest cities in the world can be, but compared to the daytime commute, it's a pleasant drive. You barely have the time to gather your thoughts and formulate new questions before the car comes to a stop. You're among the tallest skyscrapers that make up Manhattan's iconic skyline. You feel a pang of emotion as you realize this is where you took part in the exhibition just 2 nights prior. Same address, and you suspect the same hall. To what ends has it been repurposed tonight? I hope we don't have to feed on our sister. That's my only concern. Come, Dracul, park the car, Gregory, will you? The driver just nods and Sophie gets out. You join her and the two of you walk through the glass doors together, then take the elevator up. You first notice an empty stage with the instruments of a string quartet still in the back, then take in the few dozen chairs in front of it. Yes, driving a car. Well, I recently had to take Paul to the mechanic, Paul, my car, Paul, because there was a slow, the air was escaping from the front tire, but slowly, so it wasn't anything, kind of urgent. But I couldn't find the time to go over and get it fixed, and it took like 30 minutes or something. So that's it's great that it wasn't a long journey. I think it has to be a red arrow. The red cars are the best, obviously. Red cars. The concert seeming concluded, the patrons, all smartly dressed and posh, have spread out all over the hall. Sophie strides confidently inside, produces an invitation from her purse that she flashes in front of a security guard. You follow close and are let through without issue. Let's start easy. A social setting like this one would usually prove quite challenging to an inexperienced kindred. But consider this evening a small gift from your patron. I'm hoping to procure for you a willing vessel. Just remember what I told you about taking small sips. This one I have a soft spot for. Don't damage her. It's going to be the sister. Oh no. Just steal. Now let's see. There he is. She notices somebody in the crowd, flashes a heart-melting smile, and suddenly even you feel drawn to her. You haven't thought about it before, but it's laid clear before you in this moment. Sophie is beautiful. Just looking at her is a privilege. Just being with her makes you feel elated. Everybody in the crowd, but especially the man who's almost tripping over himself to reach her, clearly agrees. Edgar, I'm so happy to see you. How is your daughter? Is she with you? Oh, there she is. Julie, my girl, come over, please. There's somebody I'd like you to meet. The young woman who walks across the hall can't be more than 19 years old. It's clear from her mismatched earrings and the partially faded purple hair dye that she doesn't fit this crowd. Julie, this is Draco. I think the two of you should get acquainted while I talk business with your dad. Awfully boring stuff, I assure you. I'm positive you'll like each other. She brought us a person to feed on. The girl gives you a shy smile and nods towards the balcony stairs. You follow, somewhat unsure what it is exactly Sophie expects you to do. You reach a secluded space from which the entire lobby is visible. All eyes are on Sophie. They listen intently, then laugh when she does. Julie saves you the trouble of figuring out the next step. If you're with Sophie, then I guess you're. I mean that you know. She puts her wrist to her lips and gives herself a theatrical nip, then looks to you embarrassed, but also hopeful. Yes, I do. She takes off her jacket, unbuttons her sleeve, then rolls it up. You see a tattoo of a cat in an astronaut suit, one feline eye winking at you. There, just enjoy. A perfectly awkward smile and a blush. Yeah, we'll drink from Julie, come on. You take her phone in your hands. A quick look around confirms nobody's watching, and no security cameras cover this area. You bite down, gently. It's surreal. She's just given you her blood of her own volition. How is this possible? What about the masquerade? You need to ask Sophie. Your thoughts disappear amid the bliss. There's just a taste. Sweet, fresh, sanguine. You drink. And drink. And drink. No, stop. You tear away from the girl harder than you wanted. Still, the bite leaves just tiny punctures. Almost as if by instinct, you lick them clean, and the two holes become concealed, just like that. So they can be concealed. Julie is now leaning on the wall, pale, wobbly on her feet, but happy? She lets out a dreamy sigh, opens her eyes. A few tears fall onto her shirt. Tears of joy. Thank you. Please, can you walk me downstairs? Please, my dad, he doesn't know, thinks it's a condition. Miss Langley told him so. She leans on you and requests you walk her over to a bench. She takes a seat and smiles at you. The crowd around Sophie disperses slowly. Looking at her now, only some residual awe hangs in the air. Yes, she's pretty, maybe even beautiful, sure, but not your type. What came over you before? Is it a short game? Yeah, I think it's like 6 hours or so. Depends. You walk over to her. Edgar, dear, it was splendid talking to you, but you need to get going. Give Julie my best wishes. Come with Draco. Gregor is waiting for you out front. It's only in the car that Sophie addresses you. I can tell from your look that you took the opportunity. Good for you. That girl's exquisite, don't you think? You wouldn't tell by her demeanor, but she has so much passion. It brings out a unique bouquet in her blood. She was something else, to be sure. Delicious. I could barely stop myself from drinking more. I'm glad you did. She's one of my favorites. Consider tonight special in this regard. I do not share her with just anybody. Okay, that's the second favor. Second favor she gave. So, well, the third really. Because she saved us, gave us an apartment, now she allowed us to feed. She wants something big. Definitely. 3 streams, well, maybe more if the streams are shorter. Time for the next stop. Training wheels off this time. Gregory, Flushing Meadows, please. Okay. The driver takes the car over the Williamsburg Bridge. You settle your thoughts. Yeah, what did she do to the people back there, I wonder? Those people back at the hall, they were all entranced. Even I was under a spell. What was that? She smiles with satisfaction. That old trick? Just the blood doing my bidding. We all have our talents. Some of them come from the legacy we inherit from our sire. Others can be learned with experience. I can sway people or make them fear me. I see more of the world and in greater detail than some kindred. I can will my body to move with unparalleled precision and grace, and more. All of these skills make me who I am. They also help me hunt. How do I use my powers? How exactly do I use these talents? You will the blood to do your bidding. Many times you'll find you do these things intuitively, almost passively, but making an entire room focus their attention on you, that is tempting the beast. Always keep the masquerade in mind, however. It is all fine if you can disappear in plain sight or command animals with your mind, but save those over talents for the right place and time. Okay. It only takes you half an hour to reach the park at this time of night. Both you and Sophie leave the car, with Gregory left behind again to find a parking spot and keep an eye on the car. How lovely the trees are, you know. I like how they are moving, like with the animation like that. Sophie seems deep in thought. She takes in the surroundings with a dreamy gaze. The sky is surprisingly clear tonight. The stars just barely visible in the light-polluted aura of the city. I feel like having a snack myself. I'll be by the fountain. Go, look for somebody to your liking. See what effects you can achieve with your blood. But only pick one victim, just one. Then come back. Oh, lovely! You started playing Shadow Tactics. Is that fun? So what do you need to do in that game? Katana time. Seeing how she seems not altogether here right now, you decide to leave Sophie to her own devices and seek out your prey. From here, it looks like you have a few choices. Just taking a stroll around the park and finding an isolated jogger or someone like them could work, but focusing on one area might work better. The New York State Pavilion might work as a secluded spot. There's a skate park nearby, and worst case scenario, there's bound to be some unfortunate wino around. You play with Japan. Oh, do you speak Japanese then? Maybe you can type something in Japanese. Or maybe the tennis courts nearby. There's light coming from there, so somebody might be still playing a late night match. They won't be alone, but they might be tired and let their guard down. As these scenarios play out in your mind, you realize you're planning how to assault a stranger in the middle of the night. It's a weird way to be, but the now familiar hunger prompts you to act. So I'm not. I don't. Take a walk, but don't feed. Nah. I think maybe around the park. Stealth. You start walking. The park's many avenues must hold a good spot or two for a predator like yourself. You pass two soccer fields and circle around where the Fountain of the Planets once awed visitors with its spectacle before coming across an opportunity. A woman, a small duffel bag on her arm, is making her way through the park in a hurry. What? Sorry about that. just thought there was a message. She doesn't seem to have noticed you yet. Should I? Oh, I don't know. I might. Can I save now? No, I'm not saving. I'm not a little bitch. I'm not going to save and change. Yes. I'll go lie in wait. Then no, I might. Might focus her attention, I suppose. You think back to what Sophie did in the hall, how she managed to focus the attention of the entire gathering on her. That might be a tall order for you, but a single person could be doable. For a moment you're thinking how an old guy in a hood should appear over your shoulder saying, "Use the force, Dracul." It feels ridiculous. But then something stirs within you. There's a confidence there, an allure that you might have had before, but one that's increased manifold in this moment. You catch the woman's eye. She flashes an unsure smile, almost in spite of herself, as she passes you by. I'll go with a classic hey. Hey you. She stands, gripping her bag close but attentive. Her eyes lock onto yours. The slight smile is there again. Yes, what is it? Almost intuitively, you close the distance between you. She can't look away. She's unprepared for what follows. In a swift move, you grab her and bite down. Her surprise resonates in her blood. Hot, excited, fast-flowing. She tenses up and then relaxes. The duffel bag hits the ground. Bliss. Footsteps. You let go of her. She drops to the ground, barely conscious. A hooded man is looking menacingly at you. What do you think you're doing, barging in on my turf like this, Lick? Lick? What's a lick? Young and experienced vampires, okay. Oh no! I love beer. His name is Mike. Didn't mean to trespass, I'm going. I didn't mean to trespass, sorry, I'm going. Too late for that, friendo. You want to leave here in one piece? You talk. Candidly. I know what you are. You can shove that masquerade misdirection up my ass. Up your ass. Now, better tell me who you're with before my post shows up and we beat it out of you. I suppose I love beer. Chill out, I'm with a Camarilla. He does anything but chill out. He immediately tenses up, gives you an extremely nasty look and bares his fangs. You with a ivory towered cons, huh? Well, 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 tonight's my lucky night. Ivory towers. Oh, I don't think he's with Camarilla. I'ma fuck you up and bring you to Callahan. He'll have some fun breaking your shins, and maybe by the end of it, I'll get to have a nice long sip. I wonder what you taste like, Lick. He does his best impression of Hannibal Lecter's and a nice shanty shtick, but he's not as intimidating as he thinks. Oh goodness. I suppose, yeah, better run away. You take off fast, faster than you've ever run. The hoodlum has trouble keeping up, but howls behind you like an animal and gives chase away. As you reach the ionosphere again, you slow down, noticing two people near the sculpture. A man and a woman, tangled in a passionate embrace. No, not exactly. It's Sophie, feeling. But this whole scene is set up so that it looks like a couple getting intimate in public. She pulls it off like she's done it 100 times before. It occurs to you that she probably has. The man is unsure on his feet as she lets go of him and leads him towards a nearby bench. Noticing you, she whispers something into his ear and leaves him. Her driver appears from behind the tree. Well, Dracul, how did it go? You're about to answer when the same figure as before emerges from one of the alleys. He looks at the three of you and a predatory smile creeps onto his lips. You thought you could run away from me, Leek. Think you'll be safe with your friends? Well, I have friends too. He makes a motion to shout, but two things happen almost at the same time. First, that feeling of warmth and beauty emanating from Sophie flares up again, tracing both you and the hooded fog. His shout comes out as a weak, confused squeak. Second, Gregory produces a wooden stake from a holster under his jacket and slams it into the fog's chest. Just like that, in a few seconds, the posturing vampire is down on the ground, paralyzed. I see you've made a friend, Dracul. Curious choice of company, I would say. Who is she? Who is he? He mentioned a Callahan. He said something about presenting me to somebody named Callahan. Ever heard of him? She looks shocked for a split second, then recovers her regular countenance. Yes, I have. This hoodlum is Anarch then. Curious. Corona Park and has not been claimed by any kindred last I checked. Anarch opposes the tyranny of elders and has placed itself outside the secret society of the Camarilla. Okay. Let's go to the car. We'll put him in the trunk and present him to Kadir tomorrow night. I'm sure he'll be delighted to make this unbound's acquaintance. Gregory carries the stake vampire and dumps him in the car's trunk like a mannequin. It's a strange sight, and you're quite happy you're not in that poor fucker's shoes right now. It's almost surprising that you can get away with just casually throwing a stick into your car and driving away. But then you remember that Sophie has been doing this far longer than you have. Still, the nagging thought that anything you did tonight could have been recorded on a CCTV camera or picked up by a rando with a half-decent smartphone and streamed online fills you with dread. Yeah, I'm just thinking that so many things nowadays So many things like I don't know, if vampires were real, that would be, you know the technology could be problematic to them. um, yeah, like, let's say, or maybe something more common, like uh, there are some spots like on the coast that are very scenic, very beautiful, just pristine, and only locals know about them. But with today's technology, that might not be a secret anymore if someone looks very carefully, I suppose. Hunting and using your abilities is a dangerous business. It's clear that this whole being a vampire thing has about as many caveats as it has perks. You're taken out of your headspace by Sophie's voice. I'll pick you up tomorrow night, same as tonight. I have some business to attend to at Elysium and I expect you to accompany me. Plus, our friend in the back needs to be properly introduced to Kadir and the prince. I'm sure he'll have some interesting things to say to the court. Her voice is cold, cruel, and nothing like the enchanting personality she showed at the gallery earlier tonight. Sophie is clearly a woman of many faces. Good riddance, the guy's an asshole, yeah. Oh yeah, I can imagine he's going to enjoy meeting Kadir. I hope he gives him a good grin. The guy's an asshole. Oh, Kadir will enjoy it too, I'm sure. She pauses, seemingly lost in thought for a while. You haven't told me how your hunting went. Getting the hang of it, I would hope. I think so. I think I am. Yeah, I'll cope. I'm glad. She doesn't question you further. She seems distracted, not all there. Her thoughts drift, and the car remains silent until you reach your apartment. We'll pick you up tomorrow evening. Good night. Just like that, without any further courtesy, Sophie leaves, driven to her apartment by Gregory, with a body in the trunk, right in the middle of Manhattan. Did you cross paths with situations like these in the past unknowingly? What other secrets did you pass on the streets without knowing their true nature? Your haven is just as you left it hours ago. Although the sun won't come up for some time, you feel tired. You learned something about yourself today and will take time to process. You're not in the mood for television, and the few books on the shelves in the apartment are either in languages you don't speak or sound like a boring read. Nothing left to do but rest. You settle in the back room, lock the door. A moment of hesitation, but then a decision. This time, you turn the light off. You think back to Julie. How many people in the city know about this vampiric society? How many are willing accomplices in sustaining it? And the folk you met in the park. If he's not Camarilla, then what is he? Are there independent vampires? How does that work? More questions. You begin wondering if there's ever going to be a night when you can start crossing them off the list, instead of adding to it. Close your eyes. You sink into the no familiar void of nothingness. It greets you with open arms like an old friend. Great. So we can rest. I suppose we can save here now. Okay, I think that's it for today. Because we were ending on a night. Previously, we ended in the middle. I know. So yeah, so it's. I wonder what will happen at Elysium tomorrow. Well, tomorrow. Well, tomorrow in the game. Tuesday on the stream. So we learned a lot of interesting things, and I think if there's opportunity to use the abilities that we have, I think I would use them. I think it would be better than the other options. That's just my thinking. And yeah, I hope I can hunt on my own tomorrow. Yeah, that would be fun. Just choosing the place, choosing the victim, choosing how to approach it. Well, maybe not the victim. That sounds bad. But yeah, so that's today for Vampire the Masquerade Coteries of New York. Thank you very much for joining me, and as always, well, as now always, uh, you can join me again on Tuesday or next Thursday. But I'll be continuing with Vampire the Masquerade on Tuesday. We'll see how long it will run, how many streams. But I imagine, you know, it should be finished by Halloween, maybe a little over Halloween. Well, in any case, thank you very much for being here and have a good night.